Hello everyone. Today I am going to be removing the alternator, the idler pulley, and this whole bracket over here, the AC pump, the power steering pump, I think, and this whole bracket over here, so I can get to the heads on this 5.0 on the 92 F150. As you can see, I've already taken off the valve cover on this side, the upper and lower intake plenum, taken off the belt, removed the fan and the shroud, so I have some more room up here. So you guys can go ahead and check out those videos if you need to go back and get all that info first. But this is where I am now, so let's get going. The first thing I'm going to be removing is this idler pulley here. I have got a 19mm socket, and we're just going to loosen this bolt here. Okay, so there's the idler pulley. Next I'm going to remove this alternator. There are a couple of plugins that you have to disconnect. I am going to go ahead and disconnect that second plug-in after I've gotten this off of the bracket. So this bolt here is a 14mm. This one down here is a 14mm as well. Alright, we've got that bottom bolt out, so now we can wiggle this out of here and disconnect that second plug. And of course it's old and brittle, so I broke one of those clips, so be careful taking that one off. So now I'm ready to remove this bracket. From what I can see now, I think there's 4 bolts that are holding it on. One here that goes through the air pump. I don't know if I have to take that off. One down here, and then one kind of behind this hose. This top one here in the middle is a 14. This one on the bottom that goes through the air pump, I think is a 14, but there's so much dirt and grime on it, I can't get the 14 on there, so I've got a 15 on it. Here are the last 2 that I have to get. This one down here, and then there's that one right behind these hoses, basically. There, you can see it right there. These last 2 bolts are going to be 13 millimeter. Alright, there's those other 2 bolts. I think that should be it. Hopefully this can come off without having to take the air pump off. Alright, there it goes. Just gotta wiggle it out of there. So now I should have access to that head to take the exhaust off and the bolts out and get it out. So now I'm ready to move over to the other side and take off the AC pump and the steering pump. Okay, so I'm going to be very careful removing this AC pump because the AC still works in this truck, and surprisingly it does. I've got a 94 that it still works in, and my dad has a 94 that it works too, so they got the AC right in these trucks somehow. But there's some plugs on it that you've got to disconnect. Okay, and there's only 4 bolts holding this AC pump on. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one will probably look different on yours because mine's got this little intake holder on it here that's aftermarket. So yours probably won't have this piece on it, and it might not have this bushing thing on it. I don't know. These bolts are 10 millimeters. Alright, there's those 4 bolts. So now I'm going to carefully pick this up and put it somewhere out of the way. Gonna try not to put too much pressure on any of these joints here and cause a leak or something. Okay, so I've just kind of got it resting right here. There's actually not a whole lot of play in these hoses like I'm used to in any of the other AC pumps that I've removed or had to move out of the way. But so now we are going to have to disconnect these bolts from the head here, and I'm going to try to leave this bracket kind of right here and that power steering pump there, because it's kind of a not real easy to get to. I've changed it before, but not very fun, and if I don't have to do it, then I don't want to do it. So this one has got 4 bolts. They're easier to get to than on the other one, and hopefully those are the only 4. I see one right here behind this pulley. Hopefully it doesn't connect to anything on the engine. It's just with the pump here. So these 2 and these 2. I've got a 9/16 socket. Okay, I've got that, all the bolts out of there and the one nut off. I think that just goes to the water pump, so should hopefully be able to get the head off now without any problems. Okay, so we've got both of those brackets off, disconnected from the head, so now I am able to access those heads and get those off of there.